Welcome back, my friends, for another fun reloading video. Today we've got a range report, and this will also be my entry to the Let Freedom Ring video here. Unfortunately, no range footage, but we have some good targets, and we got a good score with some brass and some other stuff here, so we'll take a look. We'll just take a look real quick at what we were able to forage off the ground over on the rifle range. We had quite a good score with some rifle brass here. There's some 30-06. There was a guy shooting a Garand, and then some guy was also shooting some suppressed 300 Blackout and leaving all that behind. You know, there's nothing cooler than the sound of a suppressed rifle going off that's actually suppressed ammo as well. And then you hear the ting of the Garand with the block flying out of it. So that was pretty cool. And then over on the pistol range, wasn't quite as successful. It was really busy, but that's all good. I wasn't going to get in anybody's way that was there to actually shoot. But we still have, I'd say, at least 5 or so pounds of brass here. There's some 45 ACPs, some 40 Smith & Wesson, lots of 9mm, some other odds and ends, but overall, I left with more than I took, so I think it's a success. And now on to some targets. These were all at, as far as pistols, these were all at 7 or 8 yards, I believe. I think we're at 7 yards. Here was from our Wednesday night wad cutter live stream back a few weeks ago. And these were out of the Smith & Wesson K38. I think it has a 6-inch barrel. We used 2.3 grains of 700X, and here we did 10 shots. Pretty decent group here. I totally pulled this one. I knew it went off early, and I was just, LOL. It goes over here. And this time, when I went to the range, I made sure to go and shoot some steel first, so I was kind of warmed up before I went and shot on some paper. Usually I'll do paper first for some reason. I'll end up doing that, and I think it might skew my groups or whatever results we're actually getting, because normally this gun would always shoot sort of high, or we would notice I would always shoot to the left, but maybe after I'm a little more warmed up and I've shot a couple rounds, maybe we have some better results to gather from that. But who knows, maybe I just had a lucky day. Anyways, we can see perfect holes here. There were 10 shots. Excellent wad cutters sent in by Booze and Bullets. And then we also tried a 3-grain charge. As you can see, those kicked a little more and I wasn't able to follow through as well. But again, we're still centered pretty well, and they're not shifted left or high at all like we've seen historically. And also in the realm of 38 Special, we were testing it in the Ruger LCR, which is a 1 7/8 inch barrel, I believe. And we've also seen previously that they weren't able to stabilize them. So we've got some keyholing here. You can see the paper where the bullet's starting to tumble and sort of leave a smear mark here and here and here with the 2.3 grains of 700X. And then also here at 3 grains, a total failure and keyhole right here. So I only did 5 shots with these compared to the 10 shots over here, but this gave me the information I needed to not waste any more ammo on it. And now this is our third outing, I believe, with wad cutters through the LCR, and I'm pretty sure it's just not going to be able to stabilize them, because it is longer. It is a longer projectile because there's no nose or anything else. So it's just not going to be able to stabilize, which is fine. I'll save those for the other gun there. So we'll take a look at our brass here for the 38 Special. This was our 2.3 grain charge of 700X, super round primers, no pressure. However, we were getting some unburnt powder. I noticed, some flakes would fall out as I took them out of the cylinders. And same happened with the 3 grain charge. There was lots of loose soot and powder coming out. So perhaps the 700X wad cutters aren't the best way to go here. But as we did see, they were accurate, regardless of how dirty they were. Moving right along, we'll check out some 9mm here. This was the NOE 130 or 131 hollow point sent in by Booze and Bullets as well. We did this on a live stream the other day, or maybe a couple weeks back. We had 2-point-something grains of 700X that I can't remember right now. I had 9 shots to use, and in my Ruger P95, it failed to either cycle or eject every single time. They were very light in recoil, and one of them I actually had to kind of pause and make sure that I didn't have a squib, because it just felt very light in pressure and didn't even blow the slide back on that one. I guess that's what you get for trying to do a load development on a progressive press like an idiot. Don't try that, kids. Anyways, moving right along, this is take 2 with the Barry's 115 grain and our 5.9 grains of long shot. If we remember, our cases were really sooty and dirty last time I was trying those out, but this is 15 shots right here. This load is dead on if I can do my part, and just perfect circles there, perfect function, everything like that. No complaints here with the long shot and 115 grain Barry load. And lastly here for the 9mm, these were our 356 124 truncated cone here. We use 4.9 grains of unique, and this is 15 shots again, just drilling them in there. If I can do my part, they're going to go where they need to go. But we can see here, this one is slightly shifted right, whereas I'm historically shooting to the left for whatever reason. Maybe my gun actually enjoys this load, or I learned how to shoot between this session and the last one. But I was using a slightly different grip and sort of working on that, so that could be something as well. Either way, this is a really good load I've found, and of course it's unique, so you can't go wrong with unique. It was really clean burning actually compared to the long shot, and we'll take a look at the brass here in just a second and I'll show you what I mean. So obviously this ammo box here is a total mess, but we'll try and keep track. Over here on the far left was our NOE hollow point load with 2-point-something grains of 700X. No pressure at all, super round primers. Again, it barely functioned the gun. And they're a little dirty, as you can see. We didn't get a full seal and had a little blow-by with some of those gases. So yeah, again on that one, very rounded primers. This gun does leave a little crater like that, but as you can see around the edge, we're still very rounded. So that's what we're looking for. My gun just leaves a crater regardless. Here's our piece of brass that we drew a bomb on. Thanks, Uncle Jim, for that. We were trying to decide how to mark it, or, label the cases. I drew a bomb on one because we totally made up the data as we were going on the live stream there. But again, no pressure signs, didn't function. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, not a bomb. We were using the Unis Gen-X small pistol primers. We had 100% function with those. And so far, I'm 500 for 500 with the Unis Gen-X as far as going off on the first pull. You go click, it goes bang. Moving right along, here is a couple pieces of brass I was able to recover with our cast 124 truncated cones using 4.9 grains of unique. Again, like I said, these were really nice and clean burning. No blow-by. No searing on the cases, nice rounded edges of the primer, but again, the trademark cratering there from our Ruger P95. Lastly, for our 9mm brass, here's a few of our Barry's loads that I still haven't shot, but this was our second take on them where we just tightened the crimp up. You can see sort of the more tapered crimp there where I squeezed down a little bit harder on that bullet, trying to prevent some of that blow-by we had last time, as suggested by several people. However, we'll just look randomly. These were still pretty dirty. We had a little bit of blow-by. But as we saw on the target, man, they're accurate. And I guess I really don't care how dirty they are. I mean, I just pick up thousands of pieces of brass every time I go, so I'm not worried about reusing the same ones over and over again without having them cleaned or whatever. So, superb accuracy with a little bit of dirtiness, if you can handle that. Seems like a great load. There was this one, I just randomly found it. It might have been from over here or something, but I'm pretty sure it was from the Barry's. We can see this primer is way round and a different firing pinhole. I might have just picked this up off the ground, but it's still got the trademark blow-by. So I don't know if this was mine, and for some reason, we have a totally different signature here than we do everywhere else. But it felt just like, all the other ones going off, as far as I can remember, if it was my piece of brass. But man, can't argue with the accuracy we were seeing. If I can do my part, I'm not worried about a little extra soot on the cases. So we're all done with Pistol World. We went over to the 100-yard rifle range. I was shooting at 50 yards because I am using the MBUS flip-up sights right now on my 350 Legend build. So we're at 50 yards. Here's my point of aim. These were 10 different charges we were testing, and I was just making sure they're flying straight or seeing where I was actually sighted in, because this is a brand new build and we still have to get dialed in after seeing what actually functions. So yeah, here we have 10 shots. We started at 20.1 grains and we were working up to 22.8 grains, just checking for function and seeing where I started to see pressure on the brass. And I'm sure that I'm not a good enough shot with the iron sights to make any of these seem like groups or nodes, depending on the charge. Maybe there's 2 shots here or 2 shots. No, it's not. I'm not able to perform that well to get anything out of this. We were merely function testing here, but we're going to take a look at our brass and see what we came up with. So here we'll take a look at our brass for our 2100 charges, starting from 20.1 grains, going all the way to 22.8, and they have a slight flatness to them characteristically, but they're still rounded around the edge. If we were to maybe look from this angle, we haven't completely flowed over into this space, so I would still call this a round primer. We don't have any cratering, and they look like this all the way to our maximum charge here of 22.8 grains. So we still have a nice round edge here, no cratering, but they look flat from the top, so don't let that fool you. You still have some space around here. We could still go up. I think this was our maximum charge, but it started to... or not, it didn't start, but the whole time rather, we have some ejector and extractor claw marks around our case head. So it's not specifically one charge doing it. If we just look randomly, we'll see a couple little gouges and things around the case heads. That's just from the bolt and the violent action of the AR-15, and not necessarily any of these charges specifically. So as far as an initial pressure test and development sort of look here with 2400, I think we can proceed into doing some 3 or 5 shot groups. Even all the way up to our maximum charge, we didn't have any pressure, so we can go all the way up there if we want. However, I'll probably see if we have any accuracy down here in order to maybe preserve our brass a little bit. So there you have it, folks. I would call this a successful range trip. We made out with 10 plus pounds of rifle brass, which is always awesome. I can trade this for other things I need, or keep the 223, or turn it into 300 blackout, all kinds of good stuff. We didn't make out with a whole lot of lead. I think I got 2 or 3 pounds. But again, it was busy and people were there to celebrate their freedoms, and who am I to take that from them? So I'm not going to be the dummy standing in the berm while they're trying to shoot. But aside from the minor shortage of pistol brass and lead we were able to get, I would call this a great success. It was a great time. So let freedom ring, baby. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you in the next video.